Welcome back to the How to Do It Christmas Marathon. We're currently on hour 2, 4, 5 of the marathon. Don't know when the hell it's going to end. Don't really care. No, actually, we're on hour. We're starting hour 5, aren't we?
Yep.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5.
Welcome to day 12, eh?
Welcome to day 12, eh? 5 to bliss tired. Wait, that's the wrong song.
It's
Whatever.
5 golden toques.
Toques. Yeah, golden toques. That's right. Yeah, we're slowly losing our mind answering your questions.
Yes.
We're going to have to come up with the time we want to end this, Nash, because we never actually came up with how long this marathon was going to be.
I don't know.
My proposition was that we go until we drop, but you were like, no.
I got shit to do.
No, I know, you got shit to do.
I can do another 4 hours of this.
You do another 4 hours? You want to go till 10?
Yeah, I can do that.
We can go till 10. All right, we'll go to 10.
I can go till 10.
Oh, God.
Alrighty.
Mark is like, no. I'm in a different time zone, you assholes.
Alrighty, we're going back to the forum with our questions, and this is Tiku's question. Hey, Lord Cat, Nash, and Mark, thanks for your help with my last question. It turns out the problem was Intel's video codec. Well, it is Intel's video codec, yeah.
Which, no one uses the Intel video codec these days. There's a reason.
Yep. My question is about cleaning and repairing. I have a Magnavox Odyssey 2 from 1981. Because it's over 30 years old as of 2011, it's very gross inside, and I should know because I had to remove an extra crispy spider from the insides of the video game console. And would now like to clean the circuit board and integrated circuits from dust. What is the best way to do this? If I need to do some soldering will the old solder have any toxins?
Good question.
Modern solder has toxins.
Yeah.
So old solder is going to have toxins.
But I think he's concerned about if it's lead-based solder, because they did have some solder for a while.
They did have lead-based solder for a long time. You have two options here. Your first option is an air can, and that'll get rid of all the loose particulate. But the caked-on stuff, considering this is 30 years old, is guaranteed to be caked-on stuff, you're going to want to use an alcohol-based solvent. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to turn this on until you're completely sure it's dried. The alcohol-based solvent will be safe for the PCB and for the circuit board, for the chips, excuse me. But it's still got water content in it. It could still make a connection. So you want to be careful.
Like rubbing alcohol, not so much.
Well, rubbing alcohol diluted with water would work. Heavily diluted with water.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, you could use, I guess you could also use something like oil, not olive oil, but something cheaper than that to sort of rub it off. That'll actually be safe. But really, an alcohol-based solvent will work. Don't do, not like Windex or anything like that. That'll fuck everything up. That's a terrible idea. But something that's pretty pure, something that doesn't have a lot of chemicals in it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I like Dennis Tadachi's recommendation of 40% alcohol solvent works.
Yeah.
40% alcohol, 60% water. That'll work well. Because basically, you don't want, what you want to do is you want to get rid of the caked on dust, but you don't want to rub too hard because you don't want to fuck up the connectors on the PCB, the leads on the PCB.
If you need a lint-free cleaning surface, coffee filters.
Coffee filters work great for lint-free.
Fantastically. Mm-hmm. They're cheap. You can get like $2. You get all of them.
Oh yeah, you get all of them. $2. All the coffee filters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see. You could go with a lint-free microfiber cloth. That's a little expensive, but it is reusable.
Yeah. If you are concerned about the toxins in the solders, you get a painter's mask and do it in a well-ventilated area, and just to be on the 100% safe side, if you're going to be resoldering connections.
If you're really worried about lead in the solder, and it's not rosin core, get a respirator. It's honestly probably, if you're going to be doing resoldering on this, you probably already have a respirator. If you don't, it's probably worth the investment, considering I know a lot of people who do soldering their entire lives and they don't use respirators and they're fine. I know some people who have done soldering their entire lives and they've got lung cancer out the ass. So
it's a crapshoot.
That's bad lung cancer.
they've got lung cancer that goes to their bones now. So it's a crapshoot. I'd say play it safe, But if this is the only thing you're going to do, well-ventilated area, throw the windows up, or do it outside with a fan blowing away from you.
Yeah.
Fuck the neighbor kids. Screw them. I don't care about that.
Yeah, screw them. Does my neighbor dog have emphysema? I don't know.
I don't know.
See, little chihuahua. You know what? Do it with the fan. Point it right at the
Put it
dog.
right at the chihuahua.
Right at the chihuahua.
Put it at that right, little son of a bitch. The only reason I recommend a respirator is because they say modern solder isn't as bad. You still need to do it in a well-ventilated area, but if you're going to be working around it a lot, you might as well play it safe.
Yep.
Alrighty, now he asked another question. You guys talk a lot about you guys talk a lot about building computers, but no one has asked about a computer that will run old games from the 90s, and that's what I want to do, but I've never built a computer before. You guys have any tips? Here are the components I have. This is taking me back a bit.
Wow.
An Intel Celeron 333 megahertz processor, 128K of cache, 66 megahertz front side bus. Wow. Western Digital Caviar hard drive, 8,455.2 megabytes. I bet you that might not even be 5,400 RPM.
Yeah.
Asus P2EB motherboard. Wow, it's really funny that Asus still makes the P2E motherboards. The brand, not these motherboards, but StarTech PCI BT. I don't know, what is that? What is the PCI BT? What's the StarTech PCI BT? I'm not reading off the video card just yet. Is that a riser?
No, it's a sound card.
Oh, it's a sound card.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay, all right.
No, he's got a Sound Blaster Live.
No, I think the PCI BT is a PCI riser. Let's see. A 3D Force 2 MX 32 megabyte video card.
Wow.
No, it's a network adapter.
That's the network. Oh, that's a network adapter. Okay, PCI BT is the network adapter. Okay. A Sparkle FSP 360 ATV power supply. Sound Blaster Live 5.1 digital, 32x CD-ROM. Oh man, floppy disk drive, 2 sticks of RAM. I'm not sure how much RAM there is, so here are the IC numbers.
No, the Sparkle is a video capture, isn't it?
I thought 68. I thought the ATV was the maybe it is a video capture card.
Sparkle makes video
capture. Yeah, because
capture.
Sparkle makes video capture. Yeah. I thought
Wow.
Yeah, what is this? No, it's a 300 watt power supply. Yeah, it's a 300 watt power. I thought so. Yeah, it's a 300 watt power supply. Yep. There we go. Newegg confirmed it.
Good lord. Sparkle, that kind of makes me leery, but continue.
Now he's got the IC numbers. Identify your SD RAM by the SD numbers. Alrighty, on the MROB. Let's see if we can find ours here. Alright, it's PC66 memory.
Yeah, that's good.
But I need to know the dash number on it. 'Cause I need to know if it's TC, ATC, BTC, and whether it's -10, -11, -12, 10S, or 10P. Because it could up to be 64 megabits or megabits. And there are 8 ICs on each stick of RAM. He's also got Windows 95 on floppy. I don't know how much RAM that is. I guess the easiest way to check it out is see if it boots up and just go into BIOS or see the mem check.
Yeah. Good lord.
Yeah. There's actually a data sheet for the S800 IC that he pointed out that's available on from Google. Near zero DC offset and drift. Improves system accuracy. Yeah.
He's asking if we have any tips on building.
Oh, that's the S800. That's a 128 megabyte SD RAM chip thing, so that's good. So that's 128 megabytes of RAM right there. What did he is asking?
Well, he's asking for any tips on building this. Not really anything different from the modern computers, because it's about the same deal. Assembling has been about the same.
Yeah,
for years.
the biggest problem you're going to run into that you don't really run into with building a modern computer is if all the components work. They can be older components. See if they've all been individually tested, and if they haven't, see if the system boots.
So what you're going to want to do, and this might be a bit of a pain in the butt, but what you have to do is install the motherboard, RAM, memory, power supply.
And CPU.
And CPU, sorry. And make sure the speaker is connected. Power it up. If you hear a beep code, and video card. Yes, video card. And if you hear one beep, or you can hook up the monitor and the keyboard and mouse. At that point, you know your basic system is functioning.
Yeah, one beep, it's post. It's already hit its post.
Yeah.
If it starts playing Mozart or Beethoven, your memory's fucked. And you might think, gee, are you insane? No. That's actually the error code. It's some symphony or movement that it's actually programmed into a lot of BIOSes.
So yeah, if you get to that post beep, turn it back off. Then install sound card. Turn it back on. If it works, turn it back off. Then plug in the
Network
hard drive.
A network card, yeah.
The network card. And just keep doing this one component at a time.
Unless of course it won't go to post without a hard drive, then try to get the hard drive in there.
Some of them won't let you. Some of them won't
let you get the post without hard drive. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
But otherwise, the parts only fit in one way. Everything is notched. The floppy drive may not be the cable may not be notched.
No. Leave the floppy drive out for now.
Yeah. But once you get it in, if you get the floppy drive in, and it doesn't read, or the light comes on and stays on.
Yep. Turn it around.
Turn the cable around and plug it back in.
Yeah.
Don't put any floppies in there.
Yeah, don't put any floppies in there until you're sure it works.
It's in the right way, yeah.
If it still comes on and stays on, go to the connector on the motherboard. Turn it around. If it still does it, yeah. At that point, you've turned them both around. So yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, turn the floppy around again.
Yeah. So yeah, it's. Well, someone's saying for the floppy, it's the light squares on the bottom. Yeah, but some of them aren't notched or have the red marking to know which one is pin 1.
Yeah, in fact, one of my old floppy drives had no marking on the pins. We had to just guess.
Yep.
So, now Vogel Birdie does have a quick question we could get in here. Sometimes my computer has a long beep when I turn it on, but it still works fine as if it was a normal short beep. That actually means there's been a read error with the RAM quick test. At least on my BIOS, it means that. I don't know if that means it on yours, but it means there's been some sort of read error. It's not a fail error. It's something that you can work through, but it could mean that your RAM is slowly degrading. It could just be that it just got stuck making the beep noise and.
It could have, yeah.
I mean, it could have just got stuck making the beep noise for a long time before the rest of the operating system kicked in.
It's brand new RAM. Oh, it's brand new. Reseat it.
Yeah, you may want to reseat it. Yeah.
Take it out. Put it back in. Make sure it's seated properly.
Also, look up the manual for your motherboard. Every motherboard manual will come with beep codes. I don't know if they're called beep codes specifically, but they're error codes. Because sometimes the reason you have beep codes is because a lot of times you're not gonna reach post, and you're not gonna have a video card to output to. So you have to have some sort of feedback.
But
this build looks good. 333 megahertz playing Windows 95 games. It's not bad.
Yeah. It's amazing we actually managed to do stuff on computers like that, isn't it?
It's amazing.
You could watch videos on that.
Yeah.
Videos.
Yeah.
Moving pictures.
Moving pictures on that. It's amazing.
Man, do you remember mod files?
Yeah.
Remember back in the day when the MP3 was a pipe dream, and the best you could do were these MIDI assembled things that kind of sounded like the songs you wanted to hear.
Dude, I remember my first pirated song was Scatman by Scatman John, and it was in WAV format. I downloaded that 138 megabyte WAV file off a 28.8 modem.
This will blow your mind. Tori Amos had these. Someone on the internet somewhere had .mov files of live Tori Amos in concert. So at my college, using their high-speed connection, I downloaded it to their computer. I took a stack of floppies, and I zipped the file across 20 floppies to bring it back home to my computer.
Nice.
Only to have one fail.
No, they all worked. It all friggin' worked. But man, it was.
Yeah, so
it was a tiny little video too. Maybe by today's standards, it was minuscule.
All right, our next question comes in from Cognito. I got a tricky one. I have a tricky one for you. I bought my Alienware M16X in January 2010. I was happy when I got it, and I, of course, in the second I saw it rip the box open in a gentle way and started the beast up. It booted and soon began its first time startup. I waited a couple of minutes when it fully set up, and I made a password and began to explore. I clicked the start tab and it froze. I was optimistic and thought to myself it was probably nothing, just a minor glitch or something. I rebooted the computer, it was fine. In the weeks of following, I experienced kind of the same thing. I would sit at the laptop and surf the interwebs or playing a game when suddenly it would freeze up on me. Wait 4 to 5 minutes, it would go back to normal. I took action and called the Dell support line. Oh, God. What followed was 1 year and 3 months of sheer pain trying to get customer support to fix the problem. I have been through it all. I have reset the computer to factory settings, RAM tested, installed, uninstalled, and updated drivers, updated BIOS, cleaned it for dust, changed the GPU. I even had a guy to stress test it to see if it was the processor. The problem I have at some of these solutions disappeared just seemed to come back again a month or two later, the same problem every time. So here I am. I can't come up with any more things that can make the freezes go away or what might have caused these problems for so long. Next thing I'm going to do is send it in to get a new one. By the time you guys on the show get this, I probably may already have that done. Nonetheless, I'd like to see if you geniuses can figure out what the cause of this problem is.
Lots of different things could cause that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You changed a lot of things. You did RAM tests, processor tests, you changed the GPU. You know what you never changed? You know what you never fixed? Your Southbridge on your motherboard.
Yep, that's what it's... Yeah.
Thinking that might be it. See, here's the thing. When you get freezes in a computer, it's usually some sort of hardware glitch, or it's an I.O. problem. Now, if it's a new computer, I'm willing to place it on an I.O. problem, maybe a poor design somewhere along the chain of input-output. And considering it's a Dell, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a problem somewhere between the processor and the memory, something like that. But if it just started up and it does that weird freeze thing, I'm willing to bet there's something wrong between the communication between the north and south bridges in the processor. I'm thinking it's a motherboard hardware problem. I don't know.
And at that point, sending it off to get a new one,
good
best
luck.
option.
Yeah,
it is your best option. It really is. So I'm thinking that's what the problem is. And it's a very obscure little problem. I'm sure it's probably a bad IC, to be honest with you. But what are you gonna do?
Now here's what annoys me about Dell support these days. They make you go through all these hoops on the phone, and then they're like, "Well, box it up, send it to us. We'll get it back to you in a month." When I worked for them, they would send me. I had a territory that was about from South Carolina border all the way down to almost the Georgia, Florida border, and about 100 miles west of Savannah. They would send me on site with the part. I would sit there at their home, fix the thing, make sure it worked, make sure everything was doing well. Then I would leave.
They really cost cut from 2009 on, man.
Yeah, I got laid off because it's cheaper just to box it up, send it to a depot somewhere, and hope it gets fixed. And it doesn't matter if it inconveniences the customer or not.
Yeah.
And apparently customers freaking hate it, but they don't care. They're still getting money.
Mr. Crow says the Nash territory. Is that Nashville?
No. It was not.
Hobo Ape has a question. I got a new PC about 4 or 5 months ago, and it had been working perfectly fine until a few days ago. Now when I turn it on, the fan's lights come on for about a second, and then everything stops and nothing appears on the screen. The only lights that stay on are the ones that are on the graphics card. One recommendation of my friends who built the PC for me, on recommendation of my
on the graphics card.
Oh, that's an interesting question. It is interesting. Lights on the graphics card.
Does it have like a BIOS or a diagnostic on the graphics card?
My graphics card has lights on it, but it's not outside.
Yeah.
There could be diagnostic lights. I don't know what they do. I have done basic things like check connections to the motherboard, but I am not tech savvy enough to trust me or anyone else. You have, do I need a new PSU, or is there a different issue?
No, that's a mainboard issue.
You think?
Yeah, if it was a power issue, everything stops and nothing appears on screen. That's not a power issue. You'd blue screen from that, or you'd freeze. The only lights that stay on are the graphics card.
So mainboard is still getting power.
Let me look at
No,
this
because the main board has LEDs.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at this graphics card. Asus 560 GT.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen a graphics card with lights on it that weren't just LED fans or something.
Mm-hmm. His motherboard is a Gigabyte GA-P67A. Interesting.
Let's have a look at these supposed lights. Because Newegg even has a video of the thing.
Video?
Yeah, they have video of the component. Do they actually plug it into something?
No.
There's just a guy sitting there pointing at it and talking to it. They're not actually showing it in the machine.
I don't see any lights on the mainboard.
I don't...
No, I don't see lights on the main board either, so...
Yeah.
Oh.
The hell lights are you... Where are these lights coming from? Alright, because if you're seeing lights that aren't there, see your doctor.
Well, if you're seeing lights, that means there's power.
Yeah, there's
So
power.
it's not a PSU issue. Because if
there's
a
at least...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was saying there's flea power on the board.
If it was a PSU issue, if it was a power issue, the PSU would actually shut itself off to prevent fire damage.
Yes.
So it's got its own circuit breaker. I'm leaning towards a motherboard issue there. I don't know. I really don't know.
It seems like. Let me see. Does this one have onboard video? Probably not. What?
I had one little idea. Maybe it's a stuck power switch.
It could be.
Well, then the power would be going off, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure. You're right.
And no
Something
onboard,
screwed up.
No onboard video on this one, so you can't pull the video card to test. I'd hate to say it. It sounds like, it seems like the... I'm looking at the motherboard right now.
It might be. I'm thinking it might be a motherboard issue. I would say...
Or a
This
loose
is a-
connector. His friend may be right here.
This is a nice motherboard, too. This is a pretty
Yeah.
nice little high-end one. Because when they use those... When Gigabyte uses those black PCBs, it's the really nice
It's
ones.
usually their gamer ones.
Yeah.
They're extreme.
Ultra durable. I like the heatsink. Look at the heatsink on this sucker.
Yeah, it's got a nice heatsink on the South Bridge.
It's the South Bridge, goes to all the other components. Look at that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But I see where that light is. Look down in the far left-hand corner.
Yeah, there's a red light.
Yeah, there's a red light. I think there's also like a counter on there as well.
Yeah.
A counter?
Yeah, 2-digit counter. Look at there. Bottom left-hand corner of this board.
What that's about?
Post codes?
Maybe postcodes.
Let's see.
Only thing that could happen is if the power connector for the CPU is not plugged in correctly. Then it would go try to boot up and it says, "Oh God, no."
That's
Not enough
yes.
power.
Yeah, it could be that. It would be getting power, but it wouldn't be getting the right power to the right places. But how would you do that? You'd have to really fuck up connecting the ATX connector. I mean, that thing's notched.
I meant the second connector you have to put on the board.
I mean,
One
you
just
mean the
for
20
CPU.
plus 4, or do you mean the 24 plus the CPU pins?
I meant the 4-pin CPU connector.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does this
Even
one have
that's
a
hard to
4-pin?
do, though, because all of that's always notched.
No, this has an 8-pin.
Yes, but even the 8-pin's notched. Maybe if it's an 8-pin and you only connect 4 pins, you'd
No, that
experience.
should work.
It should.
Yeah. Let's look at this. What power supply does he list? Let's see. Corsair 600 watt GS. Let's have a look.
Yeah, and no, I meant maybe it fell out.
Yeah, like
Maybe
maybe,
it's
maybe it's not seated firmly enough or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could try that. I would say go check check and recheck all of your connections really firmly. Make sure they're seated properly. Don't break anything, but just make sure they're seated properly.
And check the PCI Express connector to the graphics card. That one as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Double check.
Yeah,
all those
Leo J is sort of saying the same thing. If the 8-pin isn't in at all, the system will pop on briefly, spin fans for a second, then shut down, but the board lights
Yep.
stay on, which sounds similar to what we're seeing here.
Yeah. Check that 8-pin connector. Make sure that 8-pin connector's seated properly and it's in place.
Yeah, because make sure it's seated in place, and if it is seated in place, because it was working 4 or 5 months, it could have died. See if you can swap it out.
Yeah. See, with modern processors, they can't get their power. They're power hogs. They can't get their power just from the motherboard.
Yeah.
They actually have a second separate connector that runs from the power supply to a special slot, or a socket, just for the CPU power. It used to be only 4 pins, and now it's gotten to the point that it's 8 pins because they take that much power these days.
No, I mean there are a lot of other options here, Hobo Ape.
Yeah.
You could the RAM module could be broken. The CPU may not be seated properly. It may have come out of its seating. It's such a vague problem that I would focus on the power first and try to whittle it down from there.
Get you a friend who built this over there and tell him to check
Yes.
Yeah, get your friend over there. Be like, hey, check this out. What's going on?
You built the damn thing. Fix it.
Alrighty, this next one comes from Quill. Hello, Lord Cat Nash and Maluku, and any other random guests that might randomly appear from randomness. I have 2 questions that I hope you might be able to assist with. My first question is a minor one that I am unsure if it is even possible to fix. This year I decided to buy the NFL.com Game Pass in part because of Turducken is tasty, and I'm very happy with the service except for one thing. It has quite a delay on it, and I prefer the random Lord Cat Live commentary to most of the regular commentaries provided by Fox, ESPN, etc. Sadly, because of this delay, part of the magic of watching the game is lost, as I will know about 30 seconds in advance when anything happens. I'm wondering if there's any sort of way I could add a delay to the live stream to match up against my NFL.com Game Pass delay. Any tips or ideas are appreciated.
Yes. Hit pause.
Yeah, hit pause for 30 seconds. It'll buffer.
Yes.
It will.
Yeah.
You can pause the live stream for 30 seconds and then resume it. And ta-da, magic.
Magic. So there you go. Even though the NFL season's almost over, but hey, for next season, how's that sound?
Pause just stops? No, wait a second, because I can pause.
Oh, pause doesn't buffer anymore?
Pause doesn't buffer anymore?
Here, I'll
No,
shake.
it restarts.
I'll shake my head. It just restarts it. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh
And
man.
there's really nothing you can do about it.
Mother plus it used to
You
pause.
could-
It used to actually pause.
You could time shift the audio if you're
Could, but then
really.
video gets out of sync, and it's all a pain in the ass.
Well, the video's out of sync right now for him, so.
Never mind. Let's just say don't do it. It's not worth it. I think it's sad face, I know, but at this point, I mean, we're asking him. I mean, what are we asking him to do to time shift it? To just sync up my audio with their video? That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Second question has to do with a printer I set up at my parents' place. They bought themselves a wireless printer, HP PhotoSmart Wireless, HP Wireless, B110A EAIO. There is, however, a major issue with it. With the exception of one machine that is hooked up via an Ethernet cable, the rest use a wireless connection to the router/modem. I know combo package router and modem ERF. The Zyxel P2602HWT. Zyxel, that's got to be DSL, I think. It is completely random if the wireless computers will actually detect that the printer is on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's a problem. That's a common problem with wireless printers. They have two laptops that are both experiencing the issue, and also attempted to see if my own laptop would have any more success, which it did not. I have downloaded the latest software and drivers from the HP site to see if that would resolve the problem. It did not. In an attempt to see if it was Windows firewall interfering, I turned it off, and it fixed it. No, it didn't. Considering that the wired computer isn't having any issues, I doubt it's the printer itself. Seeing as the wireless computers have no issues communicating with each other, I doubt it's the wireless router modem. Nor would I expect this to be an issue with the computers for the same reason. I am slightly stumped as what's causing this. What's causing this is Windows.
Yeah, what's causing it is wireless. Because the printer does its own wireless, and your router is doing wireless, and you can only have one wireless at the same time.
Here's the problem. Wireless printers are a pain in the ass. I have a wireless printer. It's a wireless LaserJet printer. Pain in the ass. I'm the only one using it. I'm the only computer set up to it. The only reason it's wireless is because I have no place to put it, and I don't feel like getting a 40-foot USB cable. Pain in the ass. I've yet to find a solution to this. I am convinced, Mark, that it's Windows. Windows is just dumb when it comes to wireless printers.
Yeah, maybe that as well.
Now that's from my own experience, because I've had problems with drivers. I've had to uninstall, reinstall, just so it could see the printers online. It could be driver. It could very well be a driver issue with HP, because you're having an HP wireless problem. I have HP wireless problems. Pain in the ass. Just take your laptops to the fucking machine and plug it in.
Well, it says something about these printers, considering they more or less give them to you, and they charge you mostly for the ink.
Well, I've got a professional LaserJet, so I paid for the printer. They charge for the printer, believe me.
But they still use the same components.
Similar components, yes, I have to admit. But I do have to admit the laser toner, bit cheaper than the inkjet. A lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot cheaper than the ink, actually.
So what you can do with this? You have one PC that is connected, that can print. You can share it over the network.
Yeah, that's what I have.
You share the printer over the network.
That's a better solution, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a more secure solution, too.
But you have to switch on that PC to print.
Yes. Pretty much what he's saying is set up a single computer as a print server, or just networked through that one computer. It's easier, and the reason we're saying it's more secure is the wireless printers. Someone else can get in that thing.
In fact, if you were watching the live stream while I was doing my port scanning, you would have noticed we found routers without passwords. Internet-connected routers without passwords, by the way. We found printers without passwords. Internet-connected printers that were public-facing for some reason without passwords. You know what happens when someone like me finds an internet-connected printer, forward-facing internet-connected printer without a password?
You start printing.
You waste all your paper.
I would just start printing penises.
There is a man in Pasadena, California right now who has about 800 pages of Trollface. And he's wondering what the fuck happened.
Did I get a virus? No.
No, you're just stupid.
You left your printer open. It's like leaving your door open. Don't do that.
I mean, you have to specifically configure your... Well, I don't know if you have to specifically do this, but you should have to specifically configure your printer to be public-facing. I mean, there's no reason for printers by default to be public facing ever. Ever.
I bet that poor guy, he had to put in more paper.
He probably put in more paper and kept printing. How do I stop the queue? Oh god. Yeah, I would say look up how to set up a print server. Maybe if it's a Windows machine, you'd be able to do that. Yeah. That's probably the best way to do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's not like setting up a complete server. It's just printer sharing across the network.
Yeah.
As opposed to the printer being wired. It'll be a more stable connection because if the printer's fine connected to a single system and all the systems are fine connected to that router, just take the wireless part of the printer out of the equation.
Yep.
It's been working for years.
Yeah.
All right.
We did before we had wireless printers, and hey, it works. Hey, it still works.
All right, Pizza Angel has a question. I'm having this really weird problem for the last couple of days that has me stumped. I have a network wired with a router, not wireless. My computer has been appearing to lose internet connectivity